ladies and gentlemen. You ever seen a lion hunting? It doesn't roar before the kill. It moves in silence, eyes locked on the prize. And when the moment is right, boom! It strikes. No warning, no announcement, just action. That's how success works. That's how greatness is built. Let me tell you something. Real success doesn't need a microphone. It doesn't need a big announcement, a flashy entrance, or a social media post telling the world what you're gonna do. It just needs one thing: proof. See, in today's world, everybody wants to talk. They want to post about the grind, share their plans, and seek validation before they've even done the work. They want credit before they've earned it. But here's the truth: results don't need validation. The real work, the kind that changes lives, happens long before anyone ever notices. Think about the greatest in any field. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, visionaries. Did they spend their time telling the world what they were working on? No, they spent their time working. They didn't talk about the sacrifices, they just made them. They didn't post about the early mornings, the late nights, the moments of doubt. They just showed up and put in the work day after day until the results spoke for themselves. You don't need to convince anyone that you're working hard. You don't need to tell people how disciplined you are, because when the time is right, they'll see it for themselves. They'll see it in the way you move, in the way you carry yourself, in the success that follows you, because results don't lie. Look at the legends. Michael Jordan didn't have to tell people he was the greatest. His rings did. Elon Musk doesn't need to post about how hard he works. His companies do. The most successful people in the world don't need to broadcast their every move because their success is loud enough. But the problem is, too many people want the applause before they've even stepped on the stage. They want to be recognized before they've built something worth recognizing. And that's why they don't make it. Because instead of focusing on the work, they focus on the validation. Instead of staying disciplined, they seek attention. And attention is a distraction. If you really want to make it, if you really want to be great, you need to shift your focus. You need to stop worrying about who's watching, who's noticing, who's clapping for you. You need to lock in and do the work for you. Because let me tell you something, when you truly commit, when you work in silence, when you put your head down and grind with no expectation of praise, that's when real power is built. That's when you develop an unstoppable work ethic. That's when you separate yourself from the rest. The world doesn't need to hear about your process. It needs to see your results. You ever see a tree grow? It doesn't make noise. It doesn't announce its progress. But one day, after years of taking root, after years of growing in silence, it stands tall for the world to see, and when it does, nobody questions where it came from. Nobody asks why it's there, because the results speak for themselves. And that's exactly how success works. So stop telling people what you're gonna do. Stop seeking validation before you've earned it. Stop worrying about who sees your effort. Because if you're truly working hard, if you're truly grinding, the right people will notice when the time is right. Work hard in silence, and when your time comes, let your success be the only thing that speaks. Most people want success, but not everyone is willing to sacrifice for it. They want the rewards, the lifestyle, the recognition, but they don't want the discipline that comes with it. Instead, they chase attention. They seek validation. They spend more time talking about their goals than actually working on them. And that's the difference between those who make it and those who don't. See, discipline and attention don't mix. You can either be focused on your craft, or you can be focused on who's watching. You can either put in the work, or you can put on a show, but you can't do both. And the moment you start craving attention, you've already lost sight of what really matters. Think about the greatest in any field. Do you think they spent their time chasing validation? Do you think they cared about likes, comments, and followers? No, they cared about one thing: mastery. They woke up before the sun. They stayed in the gym after everyone else left. They studied their craft while the world was sleeping, not because someone was watching, not because they needed applause, but because they knew that real success is built in the dark where nobody is looking. Most people aren't willing to do that. They want to be seen, they want to be recognized, they want people to know how hard they're working. But that's the problem. The moment you start seeking attention, your discipline weakens. Discipline is about doing what needs to be done even when no one is watching. It's about staying committed even when the results aren't visible. It's about waking up early, staying up late, and putting in the work every single day, whether the world acknowledges it or not. But attention is a drug. It tricks you into thinking you've accomplished something when you haven't. It makes you feel like you're moving forward, when in reality you're just standing still. Think about it. How many people do you know who talk about their plans, their goals, their dreams, but never actually follow through? They post about grinding, they tell everyone what they're going to do, but years later they're still in the same place. That's because they traded discipline for attention. They became more obsessed with looking successful than actually becoming successful. Real winners don't move like that. Real winners don't need to announce their every move. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. They just show up, put in the work, and let their results do the talking. When you're truly disciplined, you don't care who sees your effort. You don't need to post about your workouts. You don't need to tell the world about your late nights and early mornings, because deep down you know that the real reward isn't in being noticed, it's in getting better. That's why the best keep winning. That's why the elite stay on top. Because while everyone else is busy chasing attention, they're busy mastering their craft. They understand that the work they put in today will speak for itself tomorrow. So the question is, what are you chasing? Are you chasing success? Or are you chasing validation? Are you putting in the work, or are you putting on a show? Because at the end of the day, attention fades. But discipline, that lasts forever. Silence is a weapon, a powerful one. It holds strength, discipline, and control. But most people don't understand that. They think power comes from being the loudest in the room, from making noise, from announcing their every move. But real power is quiet. It doesn't need to be seen. It doesn't need to be heard. It just is. Look at the most successful people in the world. They aren't wasting time explaining themselves. They aren't looking for validation. They aren't broadcasting their every step. They move in silence. They execute in silence. And when the time is right, they let their success do the talking. Because they understand something that most people don't. Silence is power. See, when you're silent, you're unpredictable. People don't know what you're working on. They don't know what your next move is. And that puts you in control. That gives you the advantage. But when you talk too much, when you tell everyone your plans, you give away that power. You invite doubt. You invite negativity. You invite people's opinions, their criticisms, their expectations. And before you know it, their voices become louder than your own. That's why the strongest people don't explain themselves. They don't justify their grind. They don't ask for permission to be great. They just work. They stay locked in. They move in silence. And by the time the world realizes what they've been doing, it's already too late to stop them. Most people don't have that kind of patience. They want to be seen. They want to be recognized. They want credit before they've even put in the work. But the truth is, success doesn't come to those who seek attention. It comes to those who stay focused, stay disciplined, and stay silent. Because silence isn't weakness, it's control. It means you don't need outside validation. It means you trust yourself, your vision, your process. It means you're willing to grind even when nobody is watching, even when nobody is clapping for you. Look at the most dangerous fighters. The real ones don't talk. They don't brag. They don't waste energy proving how tough they are. They just step into the ring and handle business. And when it's over, they let their victories speak for themselves. That's how you need to move. Stop telling people what you're going to do. Stop looking for approval. Stop explaining your grind. Because the more you talk, the more energy you waste. And that energy, that should be going into the work. Your success doesn't need an audience. Your grind doesn't need applause. The only thing that matters is the effort you put in when nobody's watching. The hours you spend perfecting your craft. The sacrifices you make when no one will ever know. Because when the time comes, when the results start showing, when success starts speaking for you, nobody will question it. They'll see the work, they'll see the dedication, and they'll know exactly why you are winning. Silence is power. Use it. Talkers don't make history, doers do. Look around and you'll see it everywhere. People making noise, announcing their goals, telling the world what they're going to do. They want attention. They want validation. They want people to believe in them before they've even taken the first step. But here's the problem. Talk is cheap. The ones who talk the most usually do the least. Because talking gives them a false sense of accomplishment. They say they're going to the gym so they feel like they've already worked out. They tell everyone they're starting a business so they feel like they've already built something. But in reality, they haven't done a damn thing. And that's the difference between those who win and those who don't. Winners don't have time to talk. They're too busy working, too busy grinding, too busy becoming so good that eventually the world has no choice but to notice. See, noise is a distraction. The more you talk about what you're going to do, the less focus you have on actually doing it. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, in the reactions, in the illusion of progress. But illusions don't build legacies. Work does. Think about the greatest people to ever do it. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders. Did they waste time proving themselves with words? No. They let their actions do the talking. They put in the hours when nobody was watching. They didn't explain themselves. They didn't need to. Because when you show up every single day, when you dedicate yourself to the process, when you put in the work relentlessly, the world will see it on its own. Most people don't understand that. They think they need to prove something to others before they've proven it to themselves. They think they need to be seen before they've done anything worth looking at. And that's why they stay stuck. Because here's the truth. Nobody cares what you say you're going to do. Nobody is sitting around waiting for you to succeed. The world doesn't owe you recognition just because you have ambition. The only thing that matters is the work you put in behind the scenes, in the dark, in the moments when no one is watching. That's where champions are built. That's where greatness is forged. But if you're too busy talking, too busy looking for approval, too busy worrying about how people perceive you, you're wasting time. You're taking energy away from the one thing that actually matters: execution. Stop explaining yourself. Stop seeking validation. Stop worrying about who believes in you. Because when you put in the work, when you truly dedicate yourself, when you sacrifice and push yourself every single day, success will speak for you. And when it does, when the results start showing, when you finally reach the top, those same people who doubted you, who ignored you, they'll be the first ones asking how you did it. So let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them underestimate you. Because when the time comes, when your work is undeniable, when your success is loud enough to silence everything else, you won't have to say a single word. Most people want success fast. They want results now. They want the reward without the process, the glory without the grind, and that's why they never make it. Because success doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't come to those who expect instant gratification. It comes to those who are patient, those who are willing to put in the work day after day without seeing results, without getting recognition, without knowing exactly when it will pay off. See, patience and persistence go hand in hand. One without the other is useless. You can be patient, but if you're not taking action every day, you're just waiting. And you can be persistent, but if you're not willing to give it time, you'll quit too soon. The ones who truly succeed, they combine both. They understand that every day they show up is a step forward, even if it doesn't look like it. Think about a seed planted in the ground. For weeks, maybe even months, you see nothing, no progress, no growth. But underneath the soil, things are happening. The roots are spreading, the foundation is being built, and one day, when the time is right, that seed breaks through the ground. It wasn't magic, it wasn't luck, it was persistence. It was the commitment to keep watering, keep nurturing, keep believing, even when nothing seemed to be happening. That's exactly how success works. Most people give up too early. They start working towards something, and when they don't see immediate results, they get frustrated, they start questioning themselves, they start wondering if it's even worth it, and then they quit. Right before the breakthrough, right before everything was about to come together. Because, here's the truth. Success takes time. Anything great, anything truly meaningful is built through years of effort, not weeks of trying. The problem is most people don't have the patience for that. They look at the ones who've made it, the athletes, the entrepreneurs, the leaders, and they think it happened fast. But what they don't see is the years of work, the nights of doubt, the moments of frustration, the sacrifices nobody talks about. They don't see the basketball player who shot thousands of jumpers alone in the gym. They don't see the musician who played to empty rooms for years before getting noticed. They don't see the entrepreneur who failed over and over before finally building something that worked. All they see is the result, the success, the moment everything came together. But what they don't realize is that every great success story is built on years of persistence. So the question is, can you be patient? Can you keep going even when nothing seems to be happening? Can you trust the process even when you don't see immediate rewards? Because most people can't. They get frustrated. They compare themselves to others. They want results faster than they're supposed to come. And instead of staying the course, they quit. But the ones who make it, they understand that small progress is still progress. That every day they put in the work, every rep, every hour, every lesson, it all adds up. It might not show today, it might not show next week, but eventually it will show. And when it does, the people who doubted you, the people who laughed at you, the people who thought you were wasting your time, they'll wonder how you did it. They'll act like your success came out of nowhere. But you'll know the truth. You'll know about the late nights, the early mornings, the moments when you wanted to quit but didn't. You know about the sacrifices, the struggles, the unseen hours of work that led to that moment. Because success isn't about who gets there the fastest, it's about who refuses to stop. You can always tell who's serious about success. It's not the ones talking the loudest. It's not the ones posting every step of their journey looking for validation. It's the ones who are quietly working. The ones who show up every single day disciplined, focused, relentless. And the ones who understand that when the time is right, success will speak for itself. Because here's the truth, real work leaves evidence. You don't have to announce your grind. You don't have to convince anyone that you're working hard. Because the results will do that for you. When you dedicate yourself, when you put in the hours, when you push through failure after failure, eventually your success will be undeniable. Think about the greats, the ones who truly changed the game. Did they go around telling everyone what they were about to do? Did they stop in the middle of their grind to explain themselves? No. They just worked. They put in the time, they stayed focused, and when the results came, the world had no choice but to take notice. That's how you have to move. You see, when you work in silence, you build something real, something solid. You're not distracted by opinions, you're not chasing approval, you're locked in on your mission. And when that mission is complete, when the work is done, Your success will be loud enough for everyone to hear. The thing is, people don't respect talk, they respect proof. You can tell people you're disciplined, or you can show them through your results. You can tell people you're grinding, or you can let your skills become undeniable. The choice is yours. Becomes impossible to ignore. When everything you've been working toward becomes reality, usually the weakest. That's the moment, because if you really believe in what you're doing, if you really trust when the same people who ignored you, who broadcast it, didn't take you seriously, and if you're really putting in the work, they suddenly want to know your secret. Eventually they'll act like you came out of nowhere, like your success happened overnight. But you know the truth. You know about the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices nobody saw, the failures you had to push through, the moments of doubt you had to fight off. And the best part, you won't need to say a word, because success speaks for itself. Doesn't need a caption, doesn't need an announcement, it just is. So keep grinding, keep working in silence, keep building yourself, your skills, your future, because when the time comes, when the results start showing, they won't have to hear about it. They'll see it for themselves. So now the question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep talking about your dreams, or are you going to work for them? Are you going to waste time looking for validation, or are you going to lock in and execute? Because at the end of the day, nobody cares what you say you're going to do. They care about what you actually do. So stop explaining, stop announcing, stop waiting for approval. Just show up every single day, in the dark, in the quiet, when nobody is watching. And when the time is right, when the results start showing, when success finally speaks for you, you won't have to say a damn thing. Let your work do the talking. Let your success be your voice. Now go put in the work.